All right, everybody. Welcome back to another This Week at Bungie. This
Hi, Ho.
is the fourth one now. Is this number 4?
Yes, this is. I believe this is week 4 for us.
For the, yeah. Okay. This is the September 30th, This Week at Bungie. Um, and just earlier this week, they introduced the new D&I Club. For those who do not know what that is, it's the Diversity and Inclusion, and it's a learnings and updates going on at Bungie. And there is a message from Pete, Bungie's CEO, and there is a whole thing here that he goes over that I definitely recommend everybody reads and everything, because it just shows that Bungie's just still paving the way and just showing nothing but class with how they kind of handle these situations, and just showing that as a company you can always strive to be better. And so when they do stuff like this and are transparent with the fan base, it's always nice to see that they're still working hard at making sure everybody is treated fairly. So I'll leave a link to that in the description, and definitely go check that out.
Yeah, definitely some good stuff.
They do say here that the TWAB must go on. We are deep into the Season of the Lost now. New secrets are unfolding in the Shattered Realm each week as the plot thickens up real nice. They don't want to spoil anything here, but make sure you are keeping up with the seasonal quest. And be sure to give Crow a hug for them. So you could probably definitely use one. He had quite the shocker
Day at the office.
this week. If you haven't played this week's story through, I do suggest you do that, because there was a pretty big reveal.
Looking at. Yeah, it was big stuff.
This week we have Iron Banner. We didn't have Trials this week. They said earlier that they don't want to have Trials and Iron Banner running in the same week, says they don't want to divert the pools. So since there is an Iron Banner this week, there will be no Trials, and Trials will return next week. If you haven't played it, or in case you've missed it this week, the target score has been adjusted from 125 to 150 to match the base control mode. They also adjusted the mercy threshold to try to reduce the number of games that end shortly before team reaches the target score. They'd like to know how these new changes feel, so please give the feedback. And with Iron Banner being live this weekend, they are giving Trials a weekend off. I just went over that. They want to give one more update, though, on how that went.
Me personally, man, Iron Banner is still no bueno. I just go in there, get my quest done as fast as possible, and never go back. Like, I don't know what it is. You know what though? Like, I can't even really put my finger on it, in all honesty, because I will admit that, like, I haven't been into a whole lot of mercy rounds.
Okay.
That was pretty, like, surprising to me that, like, the mercy thing kind of died down in its own way, but
yeah.
I still felt like Iron Banner was massively snowbally, and I don't know, like, it just didn't feel like it was really connecting with me. And I'm starting to think that maybe, like, some of the changes that they made the Trials within, like, I don't know, because I mean, again, Trials is more of a revive based game type. It's just, they need to do something about the special ammo economy, for one, because again, like, it's just not working out, especially if you're fighting a full stack, and you know, they all know what they're doing. And considering that now, like, you just made every single flawless player this weekend play Iron Banner, you know, like, it gets really sweaty in there, and it gets really competitive, and there's nothing wrong with that per se, but it's a little overkill. And, like, if you don't go in there with a party that's at least, like, competent enough to play Crucible, you're going to get smoked, right? So, yeah. I don't know. I can't necessarily put my finger on one single issue that would fix Iron Banner. But if anything would make it better, bring back all the old weapons and maybe give this guy an Adept something. Like, I don't know, like, just make it more worth our while to do, because in all honesty, his weapons hasn't been, like, all that for a while now. Like, even with the multi-match SMG, like, yeah, it's cool, but you ain't gonna see a whole lot of people really use it, as opposed to, like, Shariah's Wrath, and there's an Adept version of that SMG.
Yeah. I hear what you're saying. For the team situation, I do know that they do have the solo queue, so you don't necessarily have to deal with this team. But in my experience, when you go into that solo queue, that is where the sweatiest of players, aside from trials, tend to hang out, and you almost end up having an even worse time. It's because it's not that you're now facing the team; it's just that you're facing these absolutely insane people and you still get stomped even for the above average player, or even just the average gamer can still get stomped by these guys, and
I mean, like,
it's tough.
don't get me wrong. Like, I know we're trying to do it like one PvP playlist at a time here, and Trials is really like where all their resources are really going into making that mode what it needs to be. But Iron Banner is still endgame content, right? And it's just like
Light level matters, so
I really hope that somewhere down the line they take another look at Iron Banner and say, look, like, we need to make it possible to target loot. We also need to make, I would even say, like, every season or every DLC in general, like, Iron Banner should get an exotic weapon and also have adept weapons.
Yeah, bring back that special weapon that they had, like the Point of the Stag that one season, and it's still to this day a very good bow, but something like that, but maybe a bit stronger to be worthwhile getting. You can make the quest a little bit harder, which is fine. Make people play it a bit more, but it's still worth the
quests themselves. Even like doing some of the quests that Saladin was giving, like previous season and the season before that, people were complaining, right? Oh, it's too grindy, or I can't use a sniper rifle, so I'm going to give up. So, you know, you're going to run into those situations with those kind of players, right, where it's not as streamlined. But at the end of the day, like, for those players that, again, who are PvE-oriented players and who can go into a raid, get all the exotics and all the legendary weapons from there, this is our stuff. Why can't we play PvP the way it's meant to be played? And it's just like, okay, like, I get it, you want that weapon, but us PvP guys who ideally we don't do raids, we don't do nightfalls and stuff like that, like, this is our endgame content, this is our chase. You have yours, and if you don't agree with the way we chase weapons and stuff, and I'm not saying that the weapons and the armor and stuff need to be like super hard to get, it should be accessible to everybody, but at the same time, it again, like, the raid weapons aren't accessible to everybody as much as it is if you are more social.
The average player is still going to have a lot of harder time.
That's my point, right? Like, look, I've been playing Destiny 2 for years, and the only raid I've ever done up until like I met you through the game again was just Leviathan. That was the only thing I've had ever done at the time, right? I didn't get to do Eater of Worlds. I didn't do Last Wish. Well, now we're doing Last Wish, but again, like, I didn't do any of those raids when they first came out, right? And now that we've come together, you came from your own clan, and then I left my old clan, and we made one together. Like, we have a steady thing going, and it's just like, now I can get those things going. But again, look how long it took between now and back then. Like, everything is locked away now in the DCV, right? So
and we still don't know.
That's just my point.
When that's coming back, we don't know. We haven't really had much of an update on that.
And they have yet to say
when
anything about
something else is getting taken out, because they made it sound like it was going on a free life cycle for at least a year, or roughly a year or so, before it gets hit into the content vault. And it kind of made it seem like Forsaken is kind of heading there, but with it being so dominant this season, heading into next season, I can't see them necessarily just taking it out, but it would logically be the next one to go. So
yeah, I can definitely see us losing a lot more stuff before we get stuff back. And again, like,
depends what
we could be complaining about this now, and exactly, we can complain about this right now. Witch Queen launches, and it's like, we don't even need those things anymore. Witch Queen kind of fixes all the problems that we're having right now, and it could just be a simple fact that we're going through growing pains with the game right now, because again, like, between, you know, Beyond Light and now Season of the Lost, this is the best narrative focused DLC and seasons that we've had in a long time since Forsaken. Shadowkeep, I mean, when it launched, it was fine, but once you go into the seasons, you were just doing nothing. Like, narratively, there was not a whole lot there, right? So those were growing pains that we had to live with for a while, and then Beyond Light kind of showed up and was, again, like our Taken King, right? It was our Rise of Iron. It pretty much put everything back into perspective and reminded us, why do we like playing this game so much, right?
Yep.
So, again, I want to have faith that Bungie is going to somehow fix or improve the things that we have now and just keep pushing it further. But again, with Iron Banner, I definitely feel like Saladin needs a facelift, because it's kind of archaic at this point. Like, we're still looking at him like he's the year one vendor, and that shouldn't be it.
Yeah, I know they did say that they are looking at him, and he is getting a change. It won't be the exact change I think that Osiris and the others received, but they did say they are looking at one specific to him. So it will come, hopefully, but when is we don't know. But moving on here, they want to go over some Trials information that happened last week after the Capture Zone was added for the Trials labs, as well as them enabling the Flawless Pool on Sunday. The solo win rate remained high at 27%, and the solo blowout rate was 37% prior to enabling the Flawless Pool, and it dropped below 30% after. These are all consistent with week 2. So it doesn't seem like much has changed there between the 2 weeks in terms of numbers. They're relatively the same.
Yeah.
The non-competitive matches, aka blowouts that were 5-0 or 5-1, were at 55% on Friday and Saturday.
Oh, wow.
And dropped to 51% Sunday and Monday. Very consistent overall with week 2. Although that's about just over half the matches, people are getting slapped straight up, and can't be fun. We did go
flawless Saturday, and almost 90% of our matches were 5-0 to 5-1, and we lost one match.
That's very true. Yeah, we did. It was
pretty much walking on sunshine to get to our flawless on Saturday.
Yeah, that is true. So, they saw a solid sub 50-second matchmaking times all weekend, aside from early in-card matchmaking protection causing a slight rise up to 75 seconds during the middle of the night in North America on Sunday and Monday. I never had any problem with matchmaking time queues. It seemed like we were finding people relatively quick.
Yeah, we got into matches. Actually, we got into matches in and out pretty quickly. So.
Yeah, the matches didn't last as long because of the new labs format with the.
Which I'm sure they're gonna bring it up in the TWAB.
Yeah. They said here overall they had 667,000 players participating in the labs, down 33,000 from week 2. That could just be for a combination of the map and the game type itself. With 220,000 players going flawless, we had 100,000 fewer matches played overall, which is roughly the same average matches played per player. So it went down a bit, and the flawless numbers went down a bit, but that's to be expected with this new mode, because it kind of threw everybody for a loop a little bit, because it's something we haven't seen before.
I mean, the going flawless thing, like, I can see it definitely being an issue. It was an issue for us on Friday.
Yeah.
Again, we weren't playing with our full Trials team. We were actually trying to carry a friend before the flawless pool would kick in the Sunday, but we weren't able to do that, so we just went in Saturday with our full team. But this makes sense to me, because, I mean, we were already dropping off from week 2. Then week 3 was kind of just like, you know, like, because week 3 is Trials Labs, if I'm correct, right?
Yep.
So with Trials Lab, I mean, sure, maybe a couple people walked in and said, okay, let's try a match and see what it looks like. And then it's either they realize this ain't for me, this ain't it, or, you know, you had a community set of people who just sat there and watched True Vanguard, Astacross, Frostbolt, all these guys just do it, and then they're like, yeah, that's not for me. Because, again, most of the major content creators weren't huge fans of it, right?
Yeah. That's could be very true. So, and then, yeah, they just tried it themselves once, and you're like, you know what, it's not It's
Yeah.
not something that I liked. So they say here one data set is particularly informative is the average hours played by a skill. This shows us the mid-range of skill, aka the average Crucible player, are playing 1.5 to 2 hours more on average. Meanwhile, the average hours played by a high end of skill of range has barely changed. So the people that are always all over it are still all over it, but your average player is actually engaging about an hour or two more, which is good.
I mean, that's technically us.
Yes. So, and that's good. They did find one bug with the way the new pool-based matchmaking interacts with disabled pools. It collapses them down into previous pools. Unfortunately, the setup for aiding matchmaking for the first few wins of the week causes an unintentional flawless mini pool for the first 2 wins of the card. If you went flawless and are on win 0 or win 1 of your reset passage, you preferentially match against other flawless players in the same state. Once you get to win -2, this goes away. So that can be a little bit of a tricky bug.
That probably makes a lot of sense as to like maybe what happened to us on Saturday when we tried to help Matt. Like maybe we entered like this mini pool of some kind. Because we couldn't even get past 2 wins for the life of us.
That's true. We did end up seeming to play a lot better teams, and
like it was almost
and this was before the flawless pool went in.
Yeah, it was like super night and day.
Yeah, so that very well could have been the cause of that. They said, of course, starting at 10 on Sunday, the entire passages has the preferential matchmaking against other flawless players. So those of you who thought matchmaking got harder after going flawless on Friday, Saturday, even though the flawless pool wasn't on, you were right. So
you go.
Yeah, exactly. They are planning a fix for that for the next few weeks. This week end is off for Iron Banner, but the next few weekends we'll be back to the standard elimination with the flawless pool starting on Sunday at 10 as well. We know shaking it up every weekend has been a bit jarring and are looking to keep some consistency in the weeks ahead. The first weekend of Trials Labs went well. We played a lot, read a lot of feedback, talked to our friends and clanmates, and looked at the data analytically, and the weeks looked very similar, and the matches were slightly more competitive as players grappled with the new rule set. Experientially, there are some changes that they're looking into to make the mode better. They want to find a way to vary the capture zone location without giving positional advantage to either side. Agreed. That was one of our big gripes. Was that
massive turn off?
The fact that it goes to a player's spawn point is just flat out ridiculous. So
just make everybody hold up with snipers and go nowhere.
Yeah. Internally, they tested a single central zone, but found that it created a dull, repetitive game, as it always collapsed the usable map space to that central location. I can understand that.
I'd rather that than going to the enemy spawn, but okay.
Yeah. I guess I understand that what they're saying, though, that it would be very dull because you're literally just going to the same point every single round, every time. So... But
I mean, really think about it though. Like, how often are people really going other ways, right? Like, we kind of
that already kind of happened.
Where else are we gonna
go?
In
the middle. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, where are we supposed to go? That map just has 3 lanes.
Yeah. It can be very tricky. So it'll be interesting to see what they end up coming up with. The current method uses the central tiebreaker position as center and AC positions from control during advantage rounds. We use those points to get the mode into testing quicker, but unfortunately that had a side effect of giving one side an advantage. We liked the dynamism that was created when they play tested it internally, and that might be a good mechanism that they in a less competitive mode, but we heard you loud and clear that significant of an advantage is too much for Trials of Osiris. Thank you.
Thank you.
I guess saying that they heard us loud and clear, I'm guessing there's quite a few messages on Twitter. And I do recall when I was going through Twitter, I did see quite a bit of people saying the same thing, that they did not care for that.
I was super upset. I'll tell you that much.
They are looking at authoring additional neutral capture locations in a few maps to support further labs this season. They may still play around with milder advantage positions to use in extreme cases depending on the map, but they want to make sure they have at least 3 neutral locations. They removed the gain super energy on capture from the capture zone. This specifically, after elimination, led to more snowballing. These changes...
Honestly, we barely captured anything, so I didn't even see that happen.
Yeah, but that could have explained why some teams did end up having their supers relatively quick. Even though we were running 100 intellect, it's like they're still getting it back faster. So it's like, I guess that would be that. These changes are going to need more work and play testing, and then the changes that they've been making so far. So they're currently getting something ready for another Trials run at Trials Labs Capture Zone as early as December. Is looking at like when we'll have the next one. So be regular Trials seemingly for the next couple months, which is good.
Meh. All right, that's fine.
I would like to see a different mode aside from the capture. Like if they have a different, it doesn't necessarily just have to be capture. Like perhaps they're just saying that the capture zone won't be back until December, but that doesn't necessarily mean there won't be a different labs. But they haven't mentioned anything about that. So
I'm honestly scared that they're trying to say like maybe we should bring back Countdown.
No.
Oh boy.
No.
What a mode that was.
Don't do it, please. Disability awareness. At Bungie, we believe that everyone should be able to play our games regardless of a barrier or disability they may have. October is Disability History Month and National Disability Employment Awareness Month in the U.S., which is held annually to increase the awareness and understanding of the contributions made by persons with disabilities. Yesterday, at Bungie, they announced the newest inclusion, Accessibility at Bungie, which is their mission is to partner with organizations within the gaming industry who are dedicated to game accessibility. This club has worked closely with several teams here at Bungie to create our Diversity and Inclusion pin series for the Bungie store entitled Everyone Can Play, and an emblem of the same name will also be included. So this is going to be right alongside the other emblems like the Bee Herd emblem and the I don't remember the actual names of the other ones, but there's 3 of them, I believe, at the moment. I have them behind me, and they already talked about a few more coming out, so that'll be available on October 1st. And all proceeds here, they said the emblem will feature an open door that leads out into the world, symbolizing that there are no barriers and that the possibilities are endless. Throughout the month of October, 100% of the profits from the pins sales will be benefit to the Able Gamers Foundation. This organization creates an opportunity that enables play to combat social isolation, foster inclusive communities, and improve the quality of life for people with disabilities. After October, the profits will be collected by the Bungie Foundation to distribute to other organizations that do accessibility-related work. The pin and emblem will be available in the Bungie store as of October 1st, so do check out the store tomorrow. By the time you guys are hearing this, it'll be up and on, so you can go to the store and find that out right away. I know I will be buying that tomorrow.
You buy everything, so
well,
that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, but all of their pins, I like to go over, or like I do like to buy and support because they're always for a good cause. So hey
man, I feel you for it. I have a lot of respect for you for that.
Yeah, you got they're a good company. It's always a good cause. You got to support them. It's only $20. So, moving on from there, they have the fashionistas as well. They announced last week the first digital fashion magazine called Threads of Light, and kicked off a brand new fashion show to start the search for who will be on the next cover. And their feeds are fashion packed right now, and they want to share a couple of the winners so far. So make sure to go through that. I'll leave a link to the TWAB there so you can go over all of these designs here. But there is a Red Devil Titan, looks pretty spiffy. A Black Bull Titan, that's definitely looking pretty nice.
I actually wanted to try it too, because I feel like I could come up with something pretty sick.
Why not?
I'm just a little like, you know me, man. I'm a perfectionist about things, and if I don't, I'll like it at first, and I'm like, oh, this sucks. I don't want to do it anymore.
Make something and just send it in. Why not?
Yeah, I should try. I should honestly give it a try.
But yeah, there's a bunch more that they show here. A bunch of different Guardians from all three classes. So definitely go take a look at that. They're pretty awesome. All of the people that they that they showed here will be receiving an emblem, but they still haven't chosen the Hunter, Warlock, and Titan that will grace the cover of the next edition of the Threads of Light. And it's not too late to throw our hat into the ring. So you have until the end of today to post your Guardian's appearance to be eligible to win. So if you're hearing this right now, you're too late. It was yesterday. Unfortunately, it's had to be by the end of September 30th, I believe.
Go Team Titan.
So, after that, it looks like that'll do it for the Threads of Light. And now they do want to talk to us about the Grandmasters.
Oh, we're finally getting those back now. Nice.
Yes, next week, it looks like. So, next week, Grandmaster difficulty unlocks 4 Nightfalls. First up this season will be the Hollowed Lair to face off against the Fanatic and his Horde of Scorn. Be careful, Dead Thing, as the Scorn have recently discovered ways to wield stasis. Things might get a little icy out there, Guardian.
Oh, I hate puns.
They wrote it. I'm gonna read it, and I loved it. Thank you.
I hate you.
I love
so
puns.
Much.
If this is your first go in the realm of Grandmaster difficulty, the power bar is set high for this aspirational activity. Make sure you have those numbers pumped up to 1345 to get started.
Sweet.
So trying to catch up, snag some bounties, complete your seasonal challenges, and earn as many pinnacle-powered rewards as you can. And while the Iron Banner is still here, make sure you grab those 4 pinnacles, because those will be huge. Later in the season,
I literally just got 1345, so I'm pretty happy about that.
There you go. You're right where you need to be.
Ready. Adept Palindrome, here I come.
Let's get it. Later in the season, they will be making some changes to Grandmasters and their accessibility. They mentioned these changes in a previous TWAB, and upon rereading them, some of the bullets we realized may have looked like these changes were going live in tandem with Grandmasters becoming available this season. Apologies if we caused any confusion, but the following changes are coming in an update currently planned for December. So there's a quick recap of what's coming, but again, this is happening in December. The Grandmaster catch-up node will be available at the same time Grandmaster difficulty is available, so as long as you have the Conqueror title but have not yet gilded it this season. Grandmasters will have already gone live by the time this change comes in later in the season, but the catch-up node will be available for when Grandmasters first start in the seasons going forward. Each Grandmaster Nightfall will be available if the Fire Team leader has not completed the Gilding Triumph for that strike during the season. In other words, you may play each featured strike for a season to earn your gilded title. Once you've gilded your title, the catch-up node will no longer be available. So that's basically only in terms of people that are looking to gild their Conqueror title. There was a little bit of a mishap, I believe, with it that caused some people to not be able to gild it due to not being able to play certain Grandmasters or something like that.
Honestly, I don't even think I'm not even close to even achieving that, so I'm not even worried about it.
Yeah, so that's alright. But yeah, do go over that if you are looking to gild your Grandmaster title. In terms of loot, there aren't any major changes happening. Completing Grandmaster Nightfalls gives you the chance to earn Adept variants of Nightfall-specific weapons such as the Palindrome hand cannon and the newly released Hothead rocket launcher. Players may also receive enhancement cores, prisms, and Ascendant shards for their efforts. We recently made a change where the Adept weapon mods for impact, charge time, blast radius, and projectile speed can now be acquired from Grandmaster Nightfalls in addition to Trials of Osiris and Raids. I did have this happen because I got the projectile speed Adept mod, and I was just like...
You got it in a raid?
No, I got it in Trials.
Oh.
Not in a raid. But apparently you can't get them in the raid. So I'm guessing Master
awesome.
difficulty,
But it's
of
good
course.
Master difficulty.
Yeah, it must be, yes, of course.
I just want Icarus Adept, and I'm a happy soul. I got range. I just want Icarus.
That would be the next one that I would like to get is two. Or actually no, I would actually like to get the big ones spec. So it's basically boss spec and major spec in one, so you don't have to swap them based on who you're shooting.
Oh wow, that would
fantastic.
be a really good one to have for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's definitely the one I want.
Yeah, definitely I want that one. But I still want my Icarus for PvP.
As we continue here, they are sending it over to their trusted experts at the support team with an important update on the state of live game. This is the report. Bungie names in the code of conduct. Earlier this week, many Bungie names that players had been using since Season of the Lost were removed and changed to Guardian. This change occurred due to players attempting to bypass our filters of code of conduct. Players will be able to change their Bungie name sometime later in this season. So that was something we already went over in a previous TWAB video, where if you make a name that's breaching the code of conduct, you'll just be known as Guardian. So
it's an awesome name, though.
Can't lie, it is kind of funny. Some known issues. While they continue to investigate various known issues, here's a list of the latest issues that that have been reported. They are aware of players reporting and claiming that the Nothing Monocles isn't working as intended. This is under investigation. Players having issues unlocking an entry in the Ripple's lore book will need to wait in the helm until the entry unlocks. Step 43 out of 53 of the Wayfinder's Voyage quest continuously points players to the portal, regardless of what side they are on. To complete this step, the player should make their way to Savathun's location. If the player abandoned Wayfinder's Voyage on step 19 out of 53, they are unable to complete it when they reacquire it. That's tough. That means you are back.
That's really tough.
And you cannot do the story content, so yeesh. Do not abandon the story quest, please. Especially with that bug. They have a full list of bugs, and there you can go and check out the article. After that, they have the movies of the week that they normally have. Definitely go check those out because they are always awesome. As well as the artists of the week with some more sweet photos. But that looks like that'll do it for the TWAB. That wraps it up.
Sounds good to me, man.
Is there any finalized thoughts? Anything you'd like to say here before we finish off?
No, I think I pretty much said it. Because again, just Iron Banner. He's Iron Banner. And just Saladin just be doing Saladin things. So just hopefully we get some changes soon, and who knows? Maybe we will.
Yeah, the update for Iron Banner would be nice, and I would really like to be able to focus for the loot, even though some of the loot is only just okay. I have been having fun with the Peace Bond sidearms and getting the exact role I want. When it's just throw tokens in and hope for the best I've not had luck. It's not on my side. So
I've been actually pretty lucky with Forge's Pledge, so I'm not too mad right now. He's giving me a lot of Forge's Pledge, just not the role I want. But yeah, I guess the pulse rifle's not even in a good archetype as is, so it can use all the help it can get. But it is what it is, man.
Yep. Well, all right, everybody. I think that will do it for this TWAB this week at Bungie. This was again the fourth one now, I believe. It's on September 30th. Hope you guys did enjoy it this week and our discussions. We hope to see you next time. I have been G3 Hydration.
G3 Tyrant.
Have yourselves an amazing day and stay hydrated.
Peace.